Hey everyone, if you are thinking about moving to Dayton, or maybe you're already here and you're trying to figure things out, then this video is for you. I am going to walk you through 10 must-knows about Dayton, Ohio that I wish people would have told me when I moved here about 20 years ago. So let's dive in. Hey everyone, I am StephanieClemens. I am your local real estate agent, and I am here to tell you about 10 things, especially number 9. Listen in on number 9 because I wish people would have told me about number 9 when I moved here. So, just for a little background, Dayton is southwest Ohio. And we've got 70 and 75 going through the city. So it's a well-traveled area, but not overpopulated by any means. Easy access to Columbus, to Indianapolis, to Cincinnati, to Detroit. So in the older days, manufacturing was a big thing. This was a huge area, especially for Detroit and car manufacturers. Ford, Chevy, they all had plants here, tires, that sort of thing. So that's where Dayton had its heyday and where it came up in the manufacturing area is just because of 7570, its proximity to Detroit. And then it's also super easy to get down to Cincinnati, get down to Kentucky, Louisville, and Lexington. Those are all super easy drives that you can do on a Sunday. If you want to zip up there for maybe an evening out, it's super easy to go hit the Bourbon Trail and come back home the next day. The vibe in Dayton is pretty casual. We're a blue-collar community, and we're very down-to-earth, simple people. For the most part, of course. We're casual, we're easygoing, we love our local community. The area itself is just under 822,000, so it is much smaller than Cincinnati, much smaller than Columbus, much smaller than Detroit. First of all, what's on the top 10 things that you must know about the Dayton, Ohio area? First of all, the cost of living is a lot cheaper than you will find in a lot of places. Overall, we are 3% lower than the U.S. average for the cost of living. Housing is much cheaper. The Dayton housing cost is about 17% below national average. I'll get into that in item number 2. Groceries are modestly cheaper. We're looking at 1 to 2% lower. And utilities might surprise you. They are a little higher. I know I was shocked when I just got my utility bill, although we have had a really hot summer, but it was about $100 more than usual. That was a tough one to swallow. Number 2, housing and rentals. So, looking at average rents for a 1-bedroom in the Dayton, Ohio area, you're looking at $979 to $1,058. Now, of course, it does vary per area. Dayton does have very diverse neighborhoods, so depending on where you go and what area that you're in will depend, of course, on your average rent. But for the most part, $979 to $1,058, could be higher, could be a little bit lower. Buying, now you've got lots of different options if you're buying a house in the Dayton, Ohio area. You can do historic homes, you can do brand new homes, you can do 1970, you've got mid-century moderns, you've got 2-story, you've got a ranch on a basement, you've got plain ranch, you've got condos, downtown condos with a super cool downtown vibe. You can go outside of the city and go to the suburbs. There's lots of condos to choose from there. So you've got plenty of housing options to choose from in multiple different areas with multiple different pricing options. Number 3, neighborhood and suburb options for families. So I'm going to be honest, raising a family in Dayton, Ohio has been the best thing ever. This is the perfect place, in my opinion, to raise a family. It's not too big. It's not too small. You've got plenty of activities for the kids. No matter what your kids are in, you can find it. And the cost is usually a little bit less than what you would have in Cincinnati, in Columbus, in Indianapolis, that sort of thing. If you're looking for parks, we've got tons of metro parks, tons of bike trails, tons of outdoor activities and indoor activities. Theater is huge here, along with football, basketball, soccer, lacrosse is getting pretty big also. So if you have activities for adults even, we've got rollerblade league, there's lots of softball and baseball leagues for adults, volleyball, you can find anything here in the Dayton, Ohio area. And it's amazing. It's a lot of fun. You get to know your little tribe, of course. Next thing you know, you're walking around town and you know everyone. But great suburbs that I feel for families, you can look at Oakwood, a lot of people choose Oakwood because of the school districts. It's walkable. There's lots of things to do, parks and green spaces there in Oakwood. Centerville is another one that folks really like. That's the school district it's the largest school district in the area. Then you've got Beavercreek. It's close to a lot of different things. Also, along with Wright Patt Air Force Base, you've got Bellbrook, which is a little bit smaller community, a little bit more hometown vibes to it. And then you've got Tip City and Troy, which have a great community feel to them also. If your budgets are a little bit tighter, you probably want to stick with the city of Dayton, Dayton proper, Huber Heights, Inglewood, or Clayton, those types of area, even some parts of Fairborn, and Kettering will get you into a lower price point. Now, number 4, we're talking about the school system quality. So this is according to niche.com. There's the top 5 schools here in the Dayton, Ohio area is Centerville, Oakwood, Tip City, Beavercreek, and Kettering. Those are the top 5, according to niche.com, of the highly rated public schools. So Centerville and Oakwood are nationally ranked and high ranked in the state of Ohio. If you're looking for school options inside the city, Dayton Public would be the inside the city. There's lots of different options there. You can do charter schools, you can do tech schools, you can do a normal public education, you can do a Center for the Arts school, you've got tons of Catholic school options. All of those are options within the city of Dayton. And if you've watched any of my videos, you can find, if you do live in the city of Dayton, and you want to use what's called educational choice or ed choice, there is a video for that. So make sure you check that out if you're thinking about moving to the city of Dayton and have children and you're wondering about your educational opportunities. Number 5, commuting and proximity. Now, this is probably one of my favorite things about the Dayton, Ohio area is that there's no traffic. If there is traffic, it's right outside the base around 4 o'clock, 4 to 4:30 time frame. By the time 5 o'clock hits, there's hardly any traffic at all, especially if you're traveling from the base. And if you are so we've got 35 goes through the city, and then you've got 675 and you've got 75 if you're trying to get onto there, merging areas, that's along with the 70-75 area. So merging areas, it's going to be a little bit more congested around the 4 to 5 time frame, maybe 4:30 to 5:30 by the time you get to that area, but I wouldn't even worry about it. I'm not worried about it. Number 6, weather and seasons. Yes, we have seasons. I love our seasons. Fall is probably the best season around here. Weather-wise in the fall, except for right now, we're having a very warm fall. We had a hot summer and we're going into a very hot fall. Also, the average temps this week are 87 degrees. That's not normal. Usually, when we're looking at average temps, average highs for January, it's about 36 degrees. For July, 87 degrees. Now, summers are hot and humid, so if you are not a fan of humidity, you are not going to like the summers. That's me. I hate the humidity. I grew up in the upper Midwest where it is dry. Like humid to us would be like a 15 to 20% humidity. And around here it can be 60, 70%. And I'm just not a fan. January, you are going to have, those are usually our snowy months. So the kids will have their Christmas break, right, from school. And then they'll go back maybe for 2 days. And then school will be called for snow, for cold, whatever the case may be in January. So January is that time frame where you are excited for your kids to get back to school. However, they're not quite all the way in school in January because it's cold, it's snowy, and the weather is just very unpredictable in January. You just never know what you're going to get. And also, in regards to fall, the trees are beautiful around here. So if you're going to do any fall touring, Ohio is a great place to do it, and Dayton is also a great place. You can hit up Yellow Springs, you can hit up even just in the city. Centerville has a lot of trees also in hills and valleys and that sort of thing. It's really, really pretty around the Dayton area. Number 7, while you're here, you gotta experience the culture, the food, and the local flavor. So when we're talking about food, we've got lots of mom and pop types of restaurants and shops and that sort of thing. Dayton is a great place to start a business. But like we said, the cost of living is low. The expenses that you're going to incorporate are pretty low also. If you're looking for a food scene type thing, Dayton is really good with that. We've got a food hall called The Silos, and there's 4 local places. There's a barbecue place, there's a noodle place, there's a burger place, and then a vegetarian fare. And they are all phenomenal. We've got tons of food trucks. There's Delish. They've got great food with their food truck. If you see them coming, you better visit them. Ice creams. We've got dessert shops, coffee shops. Everything's here. Everything is here. We've got the Oregon District if you want to experience a little bit more higher end local eats, and lower. I mean, the Oregon District will give you what you need in that little 3-block area. And then, of course, you do have the theater culture also, which we've got the Schuster Center, Victoria Theater, and then there's also little small theaters scattered throughout the area. Local breweries. You can't be in Dayton without trying one of the local breweries. There are so many breweries around here. I do have a video on that also. Go check that one out. There's so much history in Dayton. The arcade is something that you do have to see. You can head down there. Right now they've got Table 33 and a taco place, and the 6888 kitchens are there. They're opening up a pretzel place. They're opening up, there's a bakery that'll be opening up in there. There's a coffee shop in there. There's a beautiful hotel. The Hilton Garden Inn is there. If you have a small business and you do not have an office space but would like to have an office space, you can rent from the arcade area. Also, there's event space for weddings, for small meetings, for, anything that you want is there. And you especially have to go there during the holidays when they have the holidays. And those are amazing. They turn that place into a spectacle, that's for sure. Number 8, we're talking about costs, hidden costs, that sort of thing. Like I said, utilities can be a little bit higher here. Insurance can be a little higher too. Not as high as what you're going to have in Florida, but higher than what you would think for, the pricing of your home. And some suburbs have some pretty high property taxes, and I've heard that from a lot of folks that do move in here, is that the property taxes are a little higher than what they're expected, especially if you are in those school districts, Oakwood, Centerville, Bellbrook, those places where the school districts are super good, and then you got to pay for that some way, somehow. Number 9. Now this is the one that I've been waiting to tell you about, what the locals love and what can be a challenge. So the locals love the Bengals, the Browns, and then you can sprinkle in the Steelers also. So if you do not like any of those, you cannot get away from that. Bengals and Browns right now are the big topics, along with a little bit of the Steelers are sprinkled in. Ohio State football, don't even get me started. If you are a Michigan fan, if you're a Michigan fan, you're in trouble because you're surrounded by a lot of Ohio State fans. I'm a UC fan, a University of Cincinnati, don't really have a lot of folks to cheer with unless I head down the road, 45 minutes, then I can cheer with everyone for UC. But though I did not realize how many Buckeye fans there were here, and like I said, they're not my favorite team, and I hate to say that out loud too. If you are into biking and being in the outdoors, like I said before, I've got a video on that also about the miles of bike paths that are around here. You can go from here down to Cincinnati. You can go all over the city via bike. If you're downtown, you've got bike lanes all over the place. There's bike trails, running trails. They've got fishing. They've got hiking. There's nature trails. There's so many different things. If you've got little ones, there's a couple of them that have farms associated with them. There's one that has there's a couple of them actually that are just tons of garden and flowers, that sort of thing. It's amazing. It's amazing. I cannot forget about the festivals. We're talking about the Italian Fest. We're talking about the Greek Fest. We're talking about Oktoberfest. We're talking about Celtic Fest. Like, Daytonians love their festivals. They absolutely love their festivals. And then when it comes to fish fry season, oh yeah, you can't miss a fish fry. That's a must-do also if you're in Dayton. Challenges? No, there's not a lot, but there are, if you're into big nightlife, you're not going to get that here. It's a small nightlife type of area. You're not going to have entertainment like you do. Big theater productions are not going to come through here, but, once again, you're an hour away, hour and a half away from larger theater productions that may stop through those cities, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Indianapolis. There is crime around here, but the crime rate is pretty low in the suburbs. In the city, it's, different pockets is where you're going to If you're thinking about buying in the area, I always suggest that you drive through the neighborhoods if you can. If not, have your agent do that for you so you can kind of get a feel for it. All right, number 10, trends. So demand for the suburbs, especially Cincinnati, Beavercreek, Kettering, Oakwood, walkable suburbs such as those with great school districts and, smaller community feel. Those are always in demand. Prices are still reasonable in those areas, all compared to national rates. But, the housing market right now, we're still in a seller's market. So if you are looking to buy, that is always the challenge. Manufacturing and technology are still growing areas here in the area, along with the military and federal impact in the Dayton, Ohio area, that supports area tremendously because there's estimated 103,000 jobs just for the military and federal contractors. So those are the 10 things that you should know before moving to the Dayton area. If you're currently planning your move or trying to decide which suburb is the best fit for you and your family, let me know. Shoot me an email and let's get the discussion started. Or check out my free relocation guide. You can find the link below and reach out to me anytime. Have a great one.